Hello children, how are you all? Hope you are all fine and safe at home. I am Mrs. Jnanasundari and I will be handling Science 1 classes for you. Let us start Science 1 classes. In this session, we will going to discuss about force and motion. Second lessons for you. You know children, you have already studied in lower classes force. What is the meaning of force? You know the many different things that force can do. Let us now study the different kinds of force and motion. What is the meaning of motion? The movement of object is known as motion. We had studied in our earlier classes that push and pull results in some motion of the object. When we open the door, kick a football and lift our school bag, all involve motion and there is some push and pull. What is the meaning of pull? Applying force in a direction towards us known as pull. Few examples of pull: opening a drawer, drawing a bucket of water from the well. Push, applying force in a direction away from us is known as push. Example: kicking a football, moving a loaded cart away from us. Some examples are there in push and pull. When we open the door, kick a football, lift our school bag. Do you know children, what is the meaning of rest and what is the meaning of motion? Suppose there is a book on your table right in the middle. Is the book moving? You will say it's not moving. It's at rest. That means the object is in the stationary state is also known as rest. If you push the book to one side of the table to clear space for keeping your notebook, then you will say the book is moving. When the book was at the same place with respect to the table, you say the book was at rest. But when it was pushed from one on the table to another place, you say it was moving. So, the interrelation between rest and motion. What is the meaning of motion and what is the meaning of rest? First of all, we are going to discuss about rest and their example. Then motion and their example. Rest. A body is said to be rest if its position does not change with respect to a fixed point in its surroundings. Examples: a book lying on the table, a bench fixed in a park. Motion. A body is said to be in motion if its position continuously changes with respect to its surrounding changes with time. Example, a flying bird, a boy playing football. Meaning of motion. Motion means displacement. What is the meaning of displacement? The shortest distance is known as displacement. Motion, change in the position of an object over time. It can be described in terms of displacement, distance, and velocity. You will be studying in higher classes very clearly. Example, pushing a block in an example of linear motion. Opening door is an example of rotation. A rotating stone with attached thread is an example of, very good children, circular motion. Circular motion is a movement of an object along the circumference of a circle. That means the object travel in a circular path is also known as circular motion. Example, the motion of a point marked on the blade of electric fan. So rotational or circular motion example is electric fan. Rotating stone with attached thread is an example of, very good children, circular motion. Pushing a block is a linear motion. Can you tell me, children, while sitting in a moving bus, is it motion or rest? You know, children, a rest and motion are always relative. For example, two persons sitting in a moving bus are at rest with respect to each other, but are in motion with respect to a person standing on the roadside. When we kick a ball, it moves. When we push the book on table, it moves. When a bullock pulls, the cart moves. Motion occurs when the object is pulled or pushed by an agency. Why don't we try any inanimate agency? In a daily life, we pulled out water from the well. That means drawing water from the well with bucket, or animal pulls a bullock cart. It is a person or animal that is an animate agency that does the push or pulling. Sometimes we see a tall grass in the meadow dancing in the wind. A piece of wood is moving down a stream. What pushes or pulls them? Can you catch it, the answer, children? Yes, we know that blowing wind and flowing water in this cause. Sometimes the push or pull can be due to the inanimate agency. Forces are push or pull by an animate or inanimate agency. Now you know very well, the push or pull of an object is considered a force. In physics, force is defined as the push or pull on an object with mass. What is the meaning of mass? The amount of matter contained in a body is called mass. That causes it to change its velocity. Force is an external agent capable of changing the state of rest or motion of a particular body. It has a magnitude and direction. So force is a vector quantity. You know very well the meaning of pull. Yes, children, exert force on someone or something in order to move them away from oneself. That means she pushed her glass towards him. Move forward by using force to pass people or cause them to move aside. What is the meaning of pull? Exert force on someone or something so as to cause movement towards oneself. He pulled them down onto the couch. Move steadily in a specified direction or manner. That means the bus was about pulled away. The force is classified to two types: contact force and non-contact force. What is contact force and non-contact force? First we will study contact force. A force that can cause or change motion of an object by touching it. That means motors and gears operate through contact force. For examples, friction, normal force, air resistance, applied force. Non-contact force. Force that results when the two objects are not in physical contact with each other, yet are able to exert a push or pull. For example of non-contact force, gravitational force, electrical force and magnetic force. Now you know very well the two types of forces. Contact force, a force that acts at the point of contact between two objects. So we can say must be touching. Contact force means must be touching. Non-contact force, a force applied to an object by another body that is not in direct contact with it. So non-contact force, an example experiments, magnetic force, a kind of non-contact force. Materials such as iron, nickel, cobalt. You know very well, children, the magnetic substances, iron, nickel and cobalt, and other magnets just need to near the magnet to be attracted or repelled. Some substances is attracted by magnet is called magnetic substances. Iron, nickel and cobalt is the magnetic substances because it's attracted by magnet. So it's a non-contact force. Electric force, non-contact force of electrical charges. You know very well, children. Then gravitational force, the force of attraction between any two objects in the universe. All objects have gravitational force. The mass of an object and its distance determines the strength of its gravitational force. Contact force. Contact force are those types of forces which results when the two interacting objects are proceed to the physically contact each other. Example of contact forces: frictional force. The example given in bicycle, the friction between tire and surface of the road. The friction between tire and surface of the road. That's why the bicycle is moving. Tensional force, the water is drawing from the well. Normal force, push or pull. What happens when we apply a force on an object? The action from a force can cause an object to move or speed up, that means accelerate, to slow down, deaccelerate, to stop, to change the direction. We can apply the force can change the position of the and shape of the object. Since any change in velocity is considered acceleration. It can be said that a force on an object results in acceleration of an object. A force can change the speed of moving object. A push or pull can change the speed of a moving bicycle. If the force is applied in the direction of motion of the object, its speed is increases. If the force is applied in the direction of opposite to the direction of motion of an object, then speed is decreases. So force can change the states of body from rest to motion or motion to rest. Either change the speed or direction or both of the body. Change the shape of the body. Do you know, children? The Indian astronomer Aryabhata, an ancient Indian astronomer, said that like the banks of river appear to move back to a person in a boat floating gently in a river. The night sky studded with stars appear to move from east to west, while earth rotates from west to east. Learn more by asking others and reading up on your own. You know, children, the stars appear to move from east to west because of the very good children rotation of the earth. The earth rotates from west to east around its axis. Hence, stars appear to move from east to west. Okay, children. Once again, we will recall the lesson. Next class, we will study about the types of motion. Thank you, children. We will meet at next class.
Force and motion.
Wow! I'm okay.
How does an avalanche occur? What sets things in motion? What causes motion and what stops it? Forces. A push, a stretch, a pitch, the attraction of a magnet, a touch, all these are forces. A force is a push or attraction exercised by one object upon another. As the force of the wind on the blades of a windmill, the attraction between two magnets, an ox pulling a wagon, or your foot kicking a ball. A force would not exist by itself because it is an interaction. What this means is that it depends on the relationship between various objects.
All the things that surround us exert forces on each other, and this is constantly happening.
Some forces act in tiny things, such as those joining the water molecules to form a drop.
And other forces act on humongous things, such as those governing the motion of the planets.
Forces affect the shape and motion of all things. They can trigger the movement of an object, speed it up, change its trajectory, stop it, or just keep it still. Forces can do that through contact, when objects touch each other, but they can also do it at a distance, such as in magnetism, electricity, or the force that keeps us glued to the ground. Do you know which force that is? Every time something moves or changes its shape, there are forces at work. And when nothing changes, forces are at work too, offsetting or overriding each other.
And what forces would cause an avalanche? Oh, okay. Did you know that right now there are forces at work around you, keeping you still? Or are you actually moving?